What's going on YouTube? Official Keith here, and today we have a retro sliding phone battle between the Sony Ericson Xperia Play and the Cingular 8525. Let's go ahead and get right into this battle, starting with the screen size. It's obvious that the Sony Ericson has a larger screen than the Cingular 8525 phone. So right off the top, Sony wins that one. So first we're going to start off with the Cingular 8525. When you slide this phone, it has a locking mechanism, and you can actually feel it when it locks. You may even be able to hear it, just like that. So when you get to the keys, it actually feels natural in the hand, almost feels like a T-Mobile Sidekick, if you remember those. The buttons here, they light up at night, or they light up in general. So if you're typing or using the phone at night, it's easy to use. And then you can notice on the back here, this looks metal, but it's plastic. It's a hard plastic. And then you have the groove tracks right here on the left and right side. And this whole housing is held down by these two hex screws that are right here. So all in all, the sliding mechanism on this 8525, it's pretty sturdy, and I think something like this would take a lot of beating and still work fine. Right, now we're gonna go into the Sony Ericson Xperia Play. When you slide this phone up, there's not a locking mechanism, but it feels like it has like some magnets or something, because when you slide it up just a little bit, it takes over, and then it shows the buttons right here. Now, of course, this is reminiscent of a PlayStation controller. You also have your thumb pads, or the simulated thumb pads that would be right here. And even with this phone, you also have right and left bumper buttons and that would depend on the game. But if we turn this over, you notice the sliding tracks are different than the ones that are on the 8525, where this has a quad track setup. The 8525 has a singular track setup. So I believe this one would be a little bit more sturdier than the 8525. Another thing to note, this right here, that's metal. And you can see that there's no screws holding this down, and I think that's due to the quad track setup here. And again, even when you bring the slider down, it kind of does it on its own after a while. So it's kind of like one of those luxury cars where if you get the door close enough, it'll seal itself. It's the same way with this phone. Alright, as you can see, I've turned this phone on, and yes, this is a Windows mobile phone. This phone also comes with a stylus. So you pull this bad boy right up, you can extend it, and then you can get to what you want. If I had Express Mail set up here, then you get all this information here. Now, it's not going to do any installations or anything because this phone is not active, but you can basically go in and just do whatever you want to do with this stylus. Another thing with this Windows phone is that it has a dedicated Windows button. So you click on that button and it gives you some options that you can select from. Look at that, Windows Explorer, like old school Windows Explorer. And again, if we had service, something, we could type in a web address and pull that right up. But this is the Cingular 8525, and this is how it looks once it's turned on there. So alright, now we have the Xperia phone, and right off the bat, again, with the larger screen, you can do a lot more stuff. For those that can remember, y'all remember this active wallpaper? You would see it on a Samsung Galaxy phone, a Galaxy S phone at that. But let's go ahead and unlock it. And as you can see here, you have your basic functions right here. The screen is nice and bright. And when you move pages, you can see how the nebula here just kind of moves with it, kind of like that Samsung Galaxy S phone. Like, I think it was either the first or second S. So you have that, and then you have just your applications. You can get to those right here. And the cool thing, let's go back to home. The cool thing with this phone is that once you slide the phone up, then it would automatically take you to the games, which, let's see if it actually does it here. It looks like it's not. Looks like it's not doing anything at all. I mean, this is an old phone. I think this thing is just actually powered off. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, it powered off, which means the battery's low, just like the other phone. I thought I had charged charge them up good. At least you can see the animation of the phone turning on. But once this phone is on, you can actually slide it up, and it should bring up the available games that you can play on this phone. While this is booting up, look at the camera. The Windows Phone camera has a little macro switch right here, whereas this phone does not. But they both have flashes. But this phone is just mainly for, I mean, it was not mainly for, but you know, it has Android at heart, but it was for people who wanted to play games on the go. You know, who would have thought when this phone came out that we would have phones that can play games that look almost console level. Let's see if it'll. Yeah, it has to. Well, I don't want to say it's the battery because it's the switch. I think it's the switch, because I just saw the battery, and the battery was about 75%, 75%. But all in all, with this screen here, and again, we've already talked about this at the top of the hour, the Sony's going to win on the screen. With the sliding mechanism, I'm actually going to give it to the Windows Phone, and the reason why is because, again, when you slide this phone, it kind of takes over and slides for you. If you're not careful, or if you don't, you know, you try to do this one-handed and you do that slide up motion, it could just fall out of your hand. Whereas this phone wants you to confirm that sliding up by clicking it into place. So for the sliding, I'm going to give that to the Windows Phone. And the Windows Phone, again, I'm also going to give, because of the backlit buttons. However, to have a Sony PlayStation controller or Sony PlayStation controls built into a cell phone, that too also deserves a point. I mean, you have your start, select, and then, like I said, you have your thumb buttons, your pad, the buttons, the other button right here that you would have on the PlayStation controller, as well as the bumper buttons right here. Both of these take micro SD memory cards, and I believe you can go on both of these, and I'm probably wrong, but you're probably going up to about 64 gigabytes of, actually I think 32 gigabytes of storage. Alright, now we are going to remove batteries. Or can we remove batteries? Let's go ahead and find out. We're going to start off with the Windows Phone first. Look like there's a little gray sliding piece, and you notice right there it just releases that back door, and there's the battery. So there's a little groove where you can just go on right there. You can see that the SIM cards back in the day were pretty big as compared to what we use now. And then right here is where the micro SD card would go, and you can see the actual place for it in here. But this is the battery for the Cingular 8525. Now let's see if we can remove from the Sony Xperia phone. It looks like you can, because there's a little groove right there. It feels like you're breaking the battery or the plastic piece, but you're not. And this is the Sony Ericson removable battery. And again, you can see, let's see, where is this one? Right up top. So you have the SIM card slot, and then you have the micro SD card slot right there. And if we look at the batteries themselves, let's see. So the Cingular or the Windows Phone battery is 1300 milliamps. The battery on the Sony Ericsson is 1500 milliamps. So naturally, this battery is going to win. But I mean, back then, you know, 1300 milliamps was a lot of battery. So they counted on people playing a lot with the Sony Xperia phone. So they gave it a beefier battery out of the two. So we're going to wrap this battle up. Again, this was the Cingular 8525 Windows mobile phone versus the Sony Ericson Xperia Play Android phone. Which one do you think I'm going to choose as the winner? Son, which one do you think will win out of these two, just based off of what you've seen?
The Ericsson.
And why do you pick this one?
Well, considering I play a lot of games, so I'd go for the Ericsson.
You would go for this one. You know, a lot of people will go for this one because of productivity. Now, I know what everybody's saying. There's productivity apps now for Android. So when we're doing these types of battles, you have to think of what was available at the time that these phones were released. So from a productivity standpoint, especially if, let's say for instance, you were a realtor, a lot of realtors would carry this device here. But as my son stated, if you played a lot of games and you still needed a mobile phone, this one will be the one to have. And just based off of our video today and what we've seen, I would probably go with the Sony Ericsson as the winner of this battle. Even though the Cingular Windows Phone has a stylus, that stylus is small and I'm pretty sure I would probably lose it. And then the screen. The screen itself is going to be a big, huge reason why I would pick this phone over this one. So I hope you enjoyed this phone battle. The Sony Ericsson did win this battle. The next battle we have will be the Sony Ericsson versus that BlackBerry, and we're gonna see who's gonna win that one. Anyway, thanks for watching these videos. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. And until next time, this is Official Keith. You are now official, and we will see you later.